Hello, fellow leggers. You are joining us in Coventry at the Belgrade Theatre.
Or should we say you're joining us on the Sunset Strip, mother because we are here to see Rock of Ages, the musical.
So stick around to find out our thoughts and how many stars.
And whether it's break a leg or leg it.
So, Rock of Ages, the musical. I'm quite excited to see this one, actually. I cannot lie, I love the director-choreographer. Just getting out there.
I know, I love the music.
You're just eager to go.
I am pumped for this one because, I mean, who doesn't love sort of a rock and roll classic, a power ballad, that sort of punchy 80s rock feeling? And I'm well up for it. But what you should know is it's a jukebox musical featuring over 25 classic rock anthems, including We Built This City on Rock and Roll, which had a slight tweak and was Christmas #1 last year in the UK.
We built these, was it sausage rolls?
Sausage rolls, and The Final Countdown. Yep. But it comes with a warning of scenes of rock and roll debauchery. This one
I
does.
like it already.
Now, you may know that Latin and Ballroom Award-winning dancer, slightly off-piece there, haven't we? And winner of last year's Strictly Come Dancing, let's go dancing, is in the cast for this, and that is Kevin Clifton playing the role of Stacee Jaxx until the 6th of April.
Okay.
If you're catching it after that, you get ex-boy band Blue member Antony Costa.
Whoa!
He's got musical theatre credits as well. He's in Blood Brothers.
Okay.
Who knew?
What else do we need to know?
The original production made it to Broadway in 2009 and played more than 2,300 performances and picked up 5 Tony nominations on the way.
How come we're only seeing this now then? How's it taken so long to get over to the UK?
Well, it had a UK premiere at the Shaftsbury Theatre in London's West
did it?
End
Sorry.
in 2011, and it ran for 2 years, and by Shaftsbury Theatre standards, that's decades.
I completely missed that one then.
Clearly. Movie in 2012, the adaptation.
A movie as well?
Had an A-list ensemble cast, including Catherine Zeta-Jones, Bryan Cranston, and Tom Cruise.
Well, this has completely passed me by, leggers.
Book by Christopher D'Arenzio. I'll go for that. And this new production is, as you mentioned, directed and choreographed by Nick Winston.
Nick Winston, I love his choreography. His choreography has made many a show that has been okay turned into something astounding.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, 2 acts, around 2 hours, 20-minute intervals, something like that. So we'll catch you then and let you know what we think at that point.
And stick around to the end to hear our thoughts and also find out how many stars.
We have come to the interval, which means that it's time for the break-a-leggers
30-second interval
breakdown.
Go!
What do you think so far?
What do I think? Well, it's sexist, it's misogynistic, it's crude, it's crass, it's in your face. And I'm having a bloody brilliant evening out. It sounds great, there's some real surprises from the cast. The choreography is exactly what I expect from Nick.
I've got to say it's an absolutely blinding production. There's so much energy. The vocals are fantastic. In other shows, I'd find elements of this quite offensive, but I think it knows what it's doing.
Pastiche.
And as such, I'm on.
Well, guys, we're all rocked out. Whew. We've just come down from Rock of Ages, the musical, and I mean, what a ride, right? What a roller coaster. What a high energy, thumping, rocking celebration of the 80s.
Okay, well, let's break it down because I don't know, I feel a bit conflicted about this. I really feel as if I shouldn't like it.
Agreed.
Because it's sexist,
yes.
It's xenophobic,
yes.
To a degree it's homophobic,
yes.
So many stereotypes,
yes.
Exploitation of women and
yes.
the physical form,
yes.
Way too much flesh on show in terms of gratification of women that in other shows would make my skin crawl.
Yeah, objectifying females.
But what is it? What is it about this show that makes it work?
Makes it okay.
I don't know if it makes
like
it doesn't
make
it okay. I don't know if it does make it okay.
I
but
think
it
this
makes
show
it
has a license to exploit.
Like a license to kill for James Bond.
Like
this has a license to exploit.
Yeah.
I don't know what it. Usually I would think no, you've got it wrong. But I actually think, you know, I'm having a really good time and.
It's a guilty pleasure, isn't it?
And I think that's it. It's an absolute guilty pleasure.
And the thing
it's
is,
a real diamond in the rough. There's some real shiny stuff in this rough.
I think the reason for me why I accept it is it knows what it is so clearly, and it knows it's in the wrong. It's saying, God, can you believe we acted like this? It's saying, like, oh my God, look at what we got away with back then. It doesn't make it right, and it doesn't say it's right. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
It is taking the mickey all the time.
And I loved
and
that.
pushing to the extremes.
Absolutely. I thought that was a great nod by the director to, you know what, guys, it's hammy, it's tacky, and it's just so bad, but it's so good too.
The reason it gets away with it as well is because the cast is so goddamn talented.
Absolutely.
It moves so well. It's so big and brash as it is in its kind of being explicit. Is how it is in its delivery and in the characters and in the songs and the thumping numbers and in the colours and in the lighting and in the sound. It's just
it's a really
big
thing that we've left.
in everywhere.
Comment below if we didn't mention something then, because I think got it all in.
But it's big. It's making no excuses in everything. It drives. If any aspect of this was poor, it wouldn't. It hinges on all of those elements.
And I think what is poor for me is the book. The book is just bad. Like, they bury the book a lot within the production and within those numbers and the stage and the numbers. And my God, it needs burying for me, 6 feet under. But the fact it is so, I think it's bad. It's bad.
It is what it is.
It's bad.
It's almost making no apologies for what it is.
It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. Throw it away for all I care, because, like you said, the cast are delivering such a fantastic, 300 miles an hour experience, and that's what I've had here. I've had the experience. Forget the book.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the book and about the piece, so let's start looking at performances.
Yeah, I think we must start at the very, very top. The love interest and the leading female. You would know her from Heathers, perhaps, where she played Heather Chandler. Jodie Steele in the role of Sherrie, showing a completely different side to herself.
Showing a lot of herself. What
do
a
you know
figure.
What? She's not left much to the imagination with the costume choices.
Well, with that figure, you'd want to show it off, I guess.
I want to mention...
A lot of the male members of the audience, I imagine, are very hot under the collar.
I want to mention costume by Morgan Large, also the set, but costume, I would give you a nod for costume design, but there's so little of it in terms of material, I don't know if I can.
But she was fantastic, a fantastic vocal, almost very different to her Heather character, really. So I thought she did really well. Some lovely duet numbers, really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Another lead, Luke Walsh, in the role of Drew. He's her love interest, playing opposite her. What a voice!
And he just looks so good. You could look at him for days, and the voice, it was as if he's not even trying, and this voice just soared. A beautiful rock voice.
He's so like unimposing on the stage, and then he starts to sing, and you're like, Is that off stage? Like, you can't believe it's coming out of him.
It's almost like singing under his breath, and yet it's resonating throughout the house.
He's sensational. Zoe Birkett in the role of Justice as well. A kind of cameo role, really small for Zoe. Now, you'd recognise Zoe as the winning female contestant of Pop Idol in 2002. The first series of that. She did Get Happy and had a #1. She was signed to Simon Fuller, but now she's made a name for herself in musical theatre, and I can't wait to see her in other shows. She's done a lot I've never seen in it. I was saying she'd make a great Acid Queen in Tommy. She's played it. She'd make a great Maureen in Rent. Played it. She's been in The Bodyguard. Played it. She is fantastic. Her acting is as good as her singing, and her vocals are knockout.
Vocally fantastic.
Yes. I suppose biggest star of the show, sort of household name-wise, it'd be Kevin Clifton.
I guess everybody would know him, and he's coming in with that, so he's got a lot to live up to. How did he do?
I can't believe he can sing and act as well as he can sing and act.
Who knew? It knocks us out and surprises us each time. These people who are multi-talented.
Yeah, when they're only known for one thing to the mainstream, and then suddenly you realise they're a triple threat, and you think,
What? That's not fair.
That's not
That's impressive.
I can barely string a sentence together, never never mind do what he just did.
And some real strong rocking vocals. Boy, was he good.
Absolutely. Let's mention Kevin Kennedy in the role of Dennis, sort of the older character. He's almost the Ozzy Osbourne-esque character.
I really loved his voice. The vocal tone of so many of the cast was just perfect for these rocky songs, and he smashed it. He was great.
So great ensemble. Andrew Carthy in the role of Franz. Brilliant comic timing, lots of humour to his performance. Also mentioned Bobby Winderbank as the mugger in ensemble. We saw him in Guys and Dolls, and he stole the show then as well in such a sort of understated part.
He did.
I don't know how he's got the quality of what
moves.
He does. He's such a great mover.
He's just on fire.
Yeah, but for me, stand out would be Lucas Rush in the role of Lonnie. He's the ensemble. He sort of has a character as well that works in the dive bar. They're setting out for the Save the Sunset Strip. He's got a vested interest, and I'm going to do it.
What are you going to do?
A Breaker Leggers Award 2019 nomination.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm putting it right here. Best actor in a supporting role in a musical for Lucas Rush in the role of Lonnie in the UK tour of Rock of Ages. He stole the show for me.
He was great.
He can put no foot wrong. He was funny. He had heart. He had comic timing. He can dance. He can sing. I want to see him play Hedwig. I think he'd be a great Hedwig.
Oh, he would. He's definitely got that kind of European twinge to him. He was fantastic as a narrator character. He also breaks the fourth rule. Fourth rules. We're breaking rules.
We're breaking rules as well as walls.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And his audience into play, the kind of moments of just the looks out to the audience and then back in.
I loved him. I just adored everything he did.
The piece is set up for us to love him, and he just dwells and owns that complete character.
Absolutely. All the numbers are there that you know and love, guys. The final countdown, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, I Can't Fight This Feeling. There's some songs I didn't recognise, but I didn't enjoy them any less.
The arrangements
were
great. They moved from one song to another. The action was moving on stage, so it wasn't just one song listening from start to finish. It was one bit and then someone else. So it just moved really well.
Yeah, so a massive shout out to the band. Liam Holmes, Drew Lowe, Martin Legariak, Elliot Mason and Vito Guerreri. You were all great, absolutely.
Before we put the programme away, I spoke about them early on in terms of the sound and the lighting.
Yeah, Ben Cracknell on lighting. Always been a fan of Ben. He delivers once more here.
Fantastic
and another
lighting.
Ben in the way of Ben.
Better than our lighting that's going off here.
And Ben Harrison, a sound designer.
And also, we often forget the director choreographer. So let's say a couple of words about Nick Winston.
Nick Winston is just a force to be reckoned with in the world of theatre right now. He is a great talent, and we're lucky to have him bringing this sort of work out into the suburbs and in London's West End.
He just does a great job. At the moment, he can do no wrong. If he's got his name on it, I seem to enjoy it.
We would want to see it. Like, we want to see that. It's not always about the person in the parts, in the roles on stage. It's sometimes about the director. And
what he brings to the production.
You're in safe hands with Nick, because he's going to do. He's going to do you proud. He's going to do a great job for you.
Every production he touches so far has been lifted. Anyway, I guess you're probably wondering how many stars we are going to give Rock of Ages.
For the UK tour of Rock of Ages, we are going to give
4 stars for this piece.
I'm conflicted because I should hate it, but I just didn't. I had a great time. I feel uplifted. I feel energised. And I would recommend this to those that aren't easily offended and probably not under the age of 13. But everybody else, come and see Rock of Ages. I think you will have a good time.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Drink, let yourself go.
That's what it's about. And that's,
just let yourself go, guys.
That's what that era is about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's what this piece is about. So if that isn't for you, this isn't for you. But
celebration
you will,
of that time. You can celebrate misogyny and sexism. Who knew?
But it knows it. It knows it. So
it
prepare to be offended and rock and roll with it. That's just what I think.
That's just what I think. What do you think? Let us know down below. We would love to hear if you. I mean, What's on Stage gave it 1 star. I mean,
1 star.
We'd love to know what you think. And we're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.